If you ever find yourself sighing dreamily at a Renaissance painting, longing for the days of yore, or if you've spent any amount of time on you may have developed an interest in medieval weddings. But how well do you really know the history of the wedding traditions that we take for granted today? Did you know that in medieval times, wedding ceremonies didn't always go smoothly? Hello, and welcome to Past Reverie, where we bring history to life so you can feel like you were really there. Tonight, we light a candle and slowly drift back to a world of stone, castles, long wooden tables, and echoes of distant bells. A time where love was whispered. Latin and weddings were not quite what you'd expect. In our modern age, weddings are all about the happy couple. We ooh and ah over the flowers, the cake, the perfect Instagram shot. But don't forget, until the 18th century, weddings weren't really about love stories. They were about alliances, families, land, power. Marriages were a way to strengthen bloodlines, forge partnerships, and solidify social standing. And if you think your cousin's wedding was awkward, imagine being 12 years old and being told you're remarrying someone you've never met because your father needed horses. For noble families, marriage negotiations could take years. Terms were discussed, settlements drafted, and finally agreed upon with a handshake. Sometimes the bride and groom wouldn't even be present when the vows were exchanged. That would come later after the paperwork. Peasants had little choice in who they married, but they still had to abide by the rules. Permission was required from your lord, a blessing from the church, and hopefully no debts to settle. Otherwise, the wedding wouldn't go ahead. The wedding day itself wasn't exactly glamorous. There were no photographers, no white gowns, and white wasn't even the tradition. Brides wore their best dress, and that could be any color. Green was popular. It symbolized fertility and a good harvest. The ceremony might take place outside the church door, literally, before the couple stepped inside for the blessing. Rings were rare and often too expensive for commoners. Sometimes a kiss, sometimes just a handshake sealed the deal. But afterward came the feast, and this, at least, felt familiar. Ale flowed, meat was roasted over fire, bread, cheese, laughter, dancing, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days. Musicians played simple tunes, dancers twirled in linen and leather shoes. It wasn't elegant, but it was alive. But there was pressure, too. A new wife was expected to prove her virtue, a new husband to prove his strength. And the wedding night, well, some noble families would literally escort the couple to bed to make sure everything was, perfect. Privacy wasn't always a luxury in the medieval world. But despite the politics and pageantry, not all was cold or clinical. Amongst peasants and villagers, love did sometimes blossom. Young people carved each other tokens, wrote poetry, if they could write at all, and planted trees together or braided each other's hair with wildflowers. The rituals varied, but the hope, the human hope, stayed the same: to build a life together, to survive, to find joy in a difficult world. Now, the feasts are long over. The castles are quiet, the stone chapels echo only with birdsong, and the brides and grooms of that long-lost world are part of history's soft hush. So, close your eyes now. Let the bells ring gently in your dreams. Let the banquet fade to silence. And from all of us here at Past Reverie, we wish you a peaceful night.